Welcome, our preferred clients here at RCTV. Today, we're going to talk about color coins, a subject that we rarely ever discuss. When we used to have our Thursday night auctions several years back, one of the most popular segments of our Thursday night auctions were the coins that had beautiful color toning. Exceptional color toning has a very wide collector audience. They are true works of art. And it's especially challenging for me, a specialist in Franklin half dollars. When we're talking about mint state Franklin half dollars, I've made many presentations on mint state Franklin half dollars. And one of the first things I always tell the viewers is that most Franklin half dollars have unattractive mint set toning. Finding beautifully toned mint state Franklin half dollars is an incredible challenge. And today I have among the 8 most beautiful toned Franklins, mint state Franklins, in my entire inventory, my entire arsenal. And folks, I get to see more mint state Franklins than any other dealer in the country. And these 8 coins are the Elite 8. That is how rare they are. It's taken me a few years to put this small group together. So before I get into each one of these coins, I want to explain and talk about color toning. If you're new to this field, exceptional color toning is highly valued by a large segment of the collecting population. I often have referred to the 3 legs of the stool when appraising a rare coin. There's eye appeal, quality, and rarity in the condition being offered. Eye appeal is not the same as quality. Quality refers more to the grade of the coin. If it's MS65 or Proof 65 or MS66 or Proof 66, quality is a numeric standard that evaluates the condition of the surfaces of the coin. The bag marks, the strike, the luster, those bear into the quality of the coin. Those are all factors that we use to determine the grade of the coin. I have often spoke about rare coins as being works of art. They are an art form. Coins as an art form are truly manifested when it comes to color toning. Every toned coin is unique, and each must be evaluated as a unique work of art. When evaluating one of these works of art for eye appeal, the question I ask myself is simply, how pretty is it? Does it have a wow factor when I look at it? When I pull it out each time, am I enthralled by its beauty? Whether the coin has lustrous, brilliant surfaces, or stunning cameo contrast, or gorgeous multicolored tone surfaces. I developed a simple numerical standard for evaluating both the obverse and reverse of the coin as to the attractiveness of the toning. The more attractive the color toning, the higher the premium. This is basically the same principle any collector of beautiful color-toned coins utilizes. There are 1881S Morgan dollars in MS63 condition, which would normally be about a $100 coin with average eye appeal, average luster. But if it has phenomenal color toning on the obverse and reverse, the coin could go for thousands of dollars. I have a simple table that encapsulates this standard I've developed over the years. I call it the Tomaska toning scale. The scale goes from a low of 1 to a high of 10. And I would use this scale when I would evaluate toned coins. For example, if I rate a coin's toning as a 5 on the obverse and a 3 on the reverse, it means the obverse has average color and the reverse below average. The reverse is unattractive due to how this coin is described on the toning scale. If you look at the toning scale, it goes from 1 to 10. 1 is at the extreme end of ugly. You got a coin that's typically dull gray, brown, or even charcoal color toning. I mean, you can't call it a color, it's just ugly. A 2 or a 3 is a very unattractive coin, dominated usually with dull grays, dull browns, maybe with a smattering of some brighter coloration, perhaps around the rim, but overall, a very unattractive, dull-looking coin. You get to 4 or 5, you have a coin which I would refer to as having average color. It would not bring a premium. It would slightly devalue the coin. Most toned Franklins fall into the 3 to 5 range when it comes to toning. A gray toned 1958 D Franklin is not considered attractive among collectors who specialize in color coins. Quite the opposite. Speckled toned coins are usually in this range as well. Take a look at this 58D 66 FBL, a very high grade, but it's basically a gray with speckled brown toning, and the reverse is very similar, very dull surfaces. This is below average color toning. It's not until we get to a 6 or 7 where we might have some attractive peripheral color. A majority of the surface might be brilliant. If it's completely toned, you might have some soft coloration that is attractive, and these coins bring a premium. And toned Franklins that fall into the 7 range are very, very elusive. Very few Franklins fall into that range. They're much harder to find, for example, than toned Morgan dollars. Here's a Franklin I would rate a 7 on the obverse and reverse. It's got some nice coloration, not flashy, but pretty color, no dull grays. As Sasha tilts it around, you can see some nice coloration. And it's very important to point out at this point, especially along that right rim there. Look at that beautiful lime green. Very lovely color. And then the reverse, also very lovely. That bright iridescent coloration around the rim. You got some amber and violet. So this is a nice solid 7, and it's an MS67 FBL. That's a very, very nice Franklin. Really nice, very rare in that condition with that kind of color. One of the things I need to point out is that what makes Mint State Franklins especially difficult to photograph, to catch all that coloration, is the fact that the fields of the Franklin half dollar are dished. They're not flat. You go back to earlier coins like Morgan dollars, and Morgan dollars have what we call flat fields. In the 1800s, the era of the Morgan dollars, they would strike the coins with flat fields. And a coin with flat fields is much easier to photograph if it has color than a coin with dished fields. In the 1900s, and with the Franklin half dollars, the Mint began creating their dies with dished fields because a coin with dished fields required less die pressure. The dies would last much longer. The problem with the dished field is that when you're trying to photograph it, you've got all that color, but it's reflecting back to the camera at a different angle. So for example, if you've got a beautiful bright green near the rim, if it's dished, that color won't be picked up by the eye of the camera unless we get some light that directly hits that curved area near the rim. So it's a very, very difficult process. This is why being able to do this live with Sasha tilting the coin around is really ideal if you're looking to acquire or study one of these toned coins, because we can tilt it around so you get to see the coin at every angle. You could pick up those colors at the rim that you normally wouldn't be able to see under normal static photography. So this is a great opportunity to see some really beautiful, really rare Franklin half dollars. Now, finishing up our toning scale, we get to 8 and 9 on my toning scale. And 8 is about as nice as most toned Franklins ever get. For every Mint State Franklin date, with the exception of the 1958D, is outstanding and rare. The coin might have some rainbow peripheral color, many bright shades covering the majority of its surface, emerald greens, fuchsia, purple, vibrant blue, honey gold colors are highly prized. Few Morgans and far fewer Franklins ever receive a 9. Again, the nicest color for virtually all the Franklin dates I've ever handled would rate an 8, and these coins are rare. In my lifetime, I've only had a few Franklin half dollars that I would rate a 10. These coins are extremely rare. Now, I just have a couple comps just to give you an idea of what beautiful color-toned coins can go for. Here's a 1958 piece, 6.7 plus FBL, a gorgeous toned piece. Normally in this condition, a 6.7 plus FBL would be a $10,000 to $20,000 coin. This coin sold for $129,250. It says $110,000 at the bottom, but that doesn't include the auction house fee. The buyer ended up paying $129,250. The second coin, 48p. This was a coin pictured on my very first guidebook of Franklin and Kennedy half dollars. When this book came out, we at RCTV, we sold the coin for something in the neighborhood of $65,000 to $70,000. That same coin today, the asking price is $125,000. Beautiful coin. And there's the reverse. The reverse I would rate at about an 8. The reverse is nice. The obverse is nicer. I'd give the obverse a 9. Now I want to show you the coins I have for you today, folks. These are spectacular. They're just a great, great opportunity to own among the most beautiful toned Franklins, high quality, in existence. Starting with the 1955p. This is from what I call the Rembrandt collection. Rembrandt collection coin is a coin that has to have spectacular color toning on the obverse and reverse. This 55p in this condition is so very, very rare. It's among the most beautiful 55p's I've ever handled. I rate the obverse as a 9. I rate the reverse as a solid 8 plus. That toning you see, we call it bullseye toning, where it changes shades as it approaches the center of the coin. You get all the colors of the rainbow. That right rim is deep emerald green to fuchsia, some lighter blue, magenta. It's stunning. This coin is $2,595. On the 2-payment option, it's $1,297.50. Among the most beautiful toned 55p's in existence. The next coin, the 1953S. The 53S rarely comes with attractive toning. I rate the obverse of this coin a 9. It's just got all the colors, over 100% of its surface. You could see it has color throughout. It's just absolutely breathtaking, and it's an MS67. The 53S, as you know, is the key date in the series in full bell lines. This coin is 90% full bell lines. There are dealers asking $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for MS66s that are nearly full bell line that don't have color, that are unattractive gray toned pieces. This is a spectacular color coin, the most beautiful high-grade 53S I've ever owned. I rate it a 9 on the obverse and a 7 on the reverse. This wonder coin is $9,495, or 3 payments of $3,165. The next coin, a 1951S, the highest grade ever given this date in full bell lines. This is a coin I rate an 8 on the obverse, a 7 on the reverse. Look at the beautiful, soft coloration over this coin. Powder blue, a beautiful light lavender. You have some honey gold around the rim. It's just breathtaking. The coin is virtual perfection. There are no 6/8, folks. This is as high as the grade comes in a signature series holder, and it is full bell lines. And you look at the reverse, also beautiful color. Again, I rate the obverse at 8, the reverse at 7. I'm very conservative on this grading spectrum, but it has gorgeous honey gold and that sunburst orange by the rim, bold bell lines. The Liberty Bell, normally with a lot of ticks, etc. on the surface, the Liberty Bell is pristine and as fresh as the day it was struck. Easily the most beautiful 51S and 6.7 FBL I have ever handled. This coin is only $15,895. It's available on our 4-payment option of $3,973.75. The next coin, this 58D. Now, Sasha showed you that gray-toned, typical 58D. Look at this one. It looks like sunset. Deep orange, sunburst reds, and some deep emerald greens, and honey gold by the rim. Gorgeous coloration. This 58D, I gave a 9 to. Some purple also, right above In God We Trust. Gorgeous color over 100% of the obverse. And then the reverse, that's the trick. To get an obverse and reverse with great color is really tough on these Franklins. A completely different toning, but equally as beautiful. Purple and lavender, iridescent orange, and red. To get this kind of color on both sides, that's what makes this coin incredibly rare. This 58D and 6.7 FPL is only $4,995, available on a 3-payment option of only $1,665. The next coin. The 54P is especially difficult. I gave this coin a 7 on the obverse, an 8 on the reverse. Not as flashy as some of those others you've seen. A 7, nice violet toning over the most of the obverse, violet and blue. Reverse, an 8. Look at this deep blue and that sunburst orange and red near the top of the rim, that beautiful, beautiful blue. Cobalt blue, just gorgeous, really rare like this. And it's only $2,895. The highest grade I've certified in the Signature Series holder, 2 payments of $1,447.50. The next coin, 58P. You saw the 58P and 6.7 Plus that went for $129,000. This coin is not quite as flashy as that, but it is really above average. It's a really attractive example. I rated both a 7 on the obverse and a 7 on the reverse. And to get it in 6.7 FBL, this is one of the most underrated dates in the series. To get in 6.7 FBL with attractive color, obverse and reverse, the coin is only $7,495. One of only a couple examples in my Signature Series holder. 3 payments of only $2,498.33. And now we're at the next to the last coin, the 58D in 6.6 FBL for only $750. Rated a 9 on the obverse, a 7 on the reverse. Look at this obverse, folks. How do you describe this? It looks like the most beautiful sunset. It's just beautiful. It's stunning. You've got some lime green on the right rim, some deep blue on the left there, some fuchsia, some of that beautiful iridescent orange and honey gold. It is gorgeous. And then the reverse is very nice. It's a 7, again, kind of a soft lavender with a beautiful rim color. Now the last coin. This is the finest 57P I've ever handled in terms of grade and color. There are 57Ps out there you can get in 6.7 Plus FPL, and they have the usual model toning that are like a 5. This coin, I'm giving a 9+2 on the obverse and reverse. And as Sasha tilts it, you can see the rim. The rims are emerald green. Emerald green rims, kind of between a honey gold and lime in the center, more of that bullseye toning. The color changes as you approach the center of the coin. Fuchsia around the periphery as well. And then you flip it over, folks, and the reverse is as beautiful as the obverse. And it's a 6.7 Plus. This is the most spectacular 57P I have ever handled, period. This is it. Where that 58P sold for $129,000, this is right up there. But the coin is based on my cost. And I have the coin for only $17,895, or 4 payments of $4,473.75. So there you have it. So I hope this has been educational. I hope you've watched through the entire presentation, because You're getting information here you will not get anyplace else. These 8 Franklins I'm offering today are just works of art, true works of art, each one unique, each one so beautiful. Each time you take it out, you will get so many hours of enjoyment just studying these beautiful and very rare Mint State Franklin half dollars. Thanks for watching.